I love me a suffering succotash. This one has corn and edamame, those rich, delicious starches, and some fresh flavors from these poblano peppers, the shallot. Let's make this thing. It's so simple, just you watch. Hey everybody, this is Dylan. I eat a whole plant food diet, free of all the processed junk like added oils and all of that. And this dish is a really healthy version of something that is usually full of butter and junk. It's often a side dish, but for us, it's a main dish. Why? Because it's full of starches. Corn and edamame, come on, that's like that good calorie dense stuff. The only thing complex about this simple dish are the carbohydrates, you know. Okay, let's get started on some suffering succotash. I've got 2 poblano peppers. They're pretty darn mild. If you're worried about the heat, then you could just use a bell pepper or some kind of mild green chili. But I like this better than a bell pepper. It just has more of a fun flavor. So take them, cut them in half, and then pull out the guts and seeds just like you would with any bell pepper. I'm gonna just cut it into slices like this. Turn those slices and dice them. Slice them and dice them, get it? And that's about as small as I want to go. I'm not going to go any smaller with those. Next up, I've got 2 jalapenos. Again, if you're a wimp, that's fine, own it. But it's going to really add some nice flavor. Jalapenos aren't that hot, are they? They're pretty mild. Just cut around the guts here to get all the good parts off, all the fleshy parts. And same thing, we'll just cut that into strips. I'm gonna cut this obviously quite a bit smaller. Turn your little strips and just dice through them. Strip it, strip it, strip it, turn it, dice it, slice it, compress it. Okay, jalapeno into the pot. Now we have a shallot. It's like an onion, but it's for princesses, okay? I think it's an onion and a garlic had a baby. You don't get a lot of opportunities to dance around with a big, beautiful shallot like this, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna engage. I like to cut through this little space suit that it's got on here and break it apart. It's often got a couple of pieces in here, this shallot, and then I'll go and I'll slice down the center again and I'll just take the outer layer off. I like to cut it sort of so that they're a little bit smaller, and then I'll do it just like an onion. I'll cut it kind of this way and turn it and dice through the actual layers and so I do go a little smaller than I would chop a normal onion. And this is all ready for us to go to the stove. I was gonna start that cooking, but we might as well just set that aside. We're gonna saute this first, but let's finish prepping the rest of our ingredients. I've got 2 pretty small zucchinis. I'm gonna chop these to be pretty similar size, so I'll just go in half, and I think I'm just gonna do quarter moons. So I'll just go down the center. So we've quartered it, and now I'll just moon them. Cherry tomatoes, I'm just gonna quarter them. Cut them in half, turn them, cut them in half. Cut them in half, turn them, cut them in half. I love the flavor of a cherry tomato lightly sauteed. It really makes those flavors pop. The zucchini and the tomatoes I'm gonna throw in a little later simply because they don't need so much time to cook with the succotash. So you wanna do it in a couple of stages, if you will, just so you don't overcook everything. You know what I mean? What do you say? Shall we heat up the pan and get this cooking? It's a pun. As soon as it starts to sputter, throw in your peppers and onions. Shallot, I mean, it's a shallot. None of that low-class stuff. Keep your kettle close by. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water, and we're gonna get this thing sauteed. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I've got a couple of things I wanna throw in here before we do the tomatoes and zucchini and whatnot. I've got some cayenne pepper. Again, if you don't want spice, you could do something simple, maybe some herbes de Provence everybody's been talking about lately. Okay, and how about some garlic? Get that garlic in there. Keep the saute going. Also, I've got some, oh my goodness, that smells good, some black pepper. Get that black pepper going in there. Oh, that smells so good. Oh my goodness. We are getting close here. Before you know it, we're gonna be eating this suffering succotash. Throw in our tomatoes and zucchini. Get that in there. And along with that, we got our main ingredients for the dish. We got some frozen corn that I've just let thaw. That's where we're getting a lot of the calories from in this dish. That's what's gonna make it nice and filling. It's not a side dish anymore, ladies and gentlemen. And then we've got these, about a pound of shelled edamame. You know what I'm talking about? Soybeans. They are so tasty. I love them in this dish. Throw them in there. Look at this thing. Now we got a pot of food going. Give this thing a nice big stir. Keep that going. Now it's really coming together. Look how beautiful this is. It smells delightful. We'll turn the heat down a little bit. Let this heat all the way through, and then I'm gonna chop a little bit of parsley that we're gonna sprinkle in to give it that last bit of oomph. Let's do it. While that's going on the stove, I've got a bunch of curly parsley. That's gonna give it that really nice, fresh, crisp flavor. So chop this up, and we're gonna throw it in. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. Okay, here we go. Bam! Give it a stir. Keep this baby going. You wanna heat it all through. I don't like my zucchini to be too cooked. I like it to have just a little bit of crunch. So I'm gonna cook it just enough, and we're done. Oh my goodness, that smells so good. The parsley really puts the finishing touch on this dish. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh yes. And there you have it, y'all. Supper and succotash time. Let's have a taste. I think you're really gonna like this one. Oh, it was very hot right off the stove, as it were. These are really simple, light flavors. You're not looking for a ton of like punch in the face flavor out of this dish. The parsley's really light, the garlic's pretty light, the cayenne pepper's pretty light, unless you're a wimp. Be confident with who you are. If you want even more flavor, instead of using the water like I was using on the stove, use veggie stock, because every time it evaporates while you're sauteing your veggies, the veggie is left behind, only the water's coming out. And here's another idea. If you're looking for a no salt seasoning, try out my Stardust. Just sprinkle on a little bit of my Stardust salt substitute. You're gonna love it. So if you're trying to go no salt right now, this is a great way to do it. This is just something you can put on the dinner table and sprinkle it on every night, and I think you'll really like it. Let me know what you think. Try this succotash and let me know what you think about that too. Check out more of my videos right here, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.